After taking the 1997 title with Williams and enduring a difficult 98 with the same team, Jacques Villeneuve decided a change of scenery was needed. In a decision that could have changed his path in F1, Villeneuve rejected Adrian Newey's offer to join him at McLaren and rather became driver and part owner of the newly founded BAR team that was said to be based around him.
It's a great challenge, but it's very exciting because it's all built from scratch, and we're free to go anywhere we want to and to build on it, so that's very, very exciting.
The BAR-01 was paired with the underpowered Supertec engine, former of Renault, and proved to be a nervous car that suffered constantly from unreliability. Already from testing, BAR would see one of the rear wings detached from the car, and the same would happen for Villeneuve at the season opener in Melbourne. While running in 7th place, he lost his wing at the back straight, but thankfully just grazed the wall and walked away unharmed.
Well, it's quite simple. He lost his rear wing and lost traction and obviously had a crash.
No, it wasn't too bad because I didn't go straight towards the wall, so it was okay. The car was running really, really strong. It could run a little bit quicker than Ralph, so it was looking good for the second half of the race.
Brazil was a worse race for BAR, with the car proving uncompetitive at the dusty Interlagos circuit. Villeneuve started at the back of the field and ran the race a lap down from the leaders before retiring with a hydraulics failure 23 laps from the end. The BAR-01 was a hit-and-miss car, and proof to that was Villeneuve starting the San Marino Grand Prix from 5th on the grid. Although, to be frank, he didn't start the race as he was left stranded at the grid with a gearbox issue.
We've been quick, but that's what we were expecting since the beginning of the season. We just had it a little bit late, and to finally be qualified 5th and have good chances in the race, it's very frustrating to not even take the start. We wanted to finish a race to see if the car could last, so that's not positive at all.
At Monaco, the Canadian retired before half-race distance with an oil leak, and in Spain he had his most competitive race of the season. Starting 6th, after a great getaway, he will jump up to 3rd and hold the Ferraris behind him. He fell to 5th place after the pit stops, and then on lap 40 he retired with another gearbox problem.
First gear broke, I think, at the pit stop, but we had another problem. Around the first pit stop, the rear wing broke also, so the car became a little bit loose.
News for a Honda Engines deal for 2000 provided an uplift in morale, but results became worse as the season progressed.
We think that Honda believe that with British American Racing being a new team, that it will be easier to work with us and we won't be set in our ways.
At his home race, Villeneuve had an accident at the famous Wall of Champions while running in 9th position.
Some drivers cut it pretty hard and there's a lot of sand going on the track, so if you're just a little bit wide, you lose a lot of grip, and well, the same for everybody.
France could have been a good chance for scoring points, but Villeneuve spun off in what has to be described as atrocious conditions. Next up was the British Grand Prix, where he stalled at the first start of the race with a suspected gearbox issue, and then retired with a broken half-shaft. At the Austrian Grand Prix, and after another great start, Jacques would bring the BAR-01 into the points and stay there until lap 34, but yet again he retired with mechanical problems, having not finished the race with more than half of the season gone. As bets were made regarding when he would finally finish a race, Germany didn't provide a chance in fortunes as the Canadian got caught in a start crash that was triggered by Marc Genet. His 11th straight retirement would come 2 weeks later in Hungary when his clutch exploded on lap 60. F1 visited Belgium after the summer break, and things didn't seem to get any better for both BAR and Villeneuve. In Friday practice, Jacques experienced a suspension failure, and then he had a big crash at Eau Rouge, from which he walked unscathed and managed to keep his good sense of humor.
That's pretty close to last year. I think the impact was smaller, but I rolled, so that was a bonus.
At least he had finally finished the race, albeit next to last and a lap down from the leaders, and this good fortune would stick with him for the next race in Italy with an 8th place finish. Things returned to normal at the chaotic European Grand Prix, where he was classified but retired from 5th place 5 laps from the checkered flag with a slipping clutch, thus losing another chance to score BAR's first ever points. The penultimate race in Malaysia was the scene for Villeneuve's 13th and last retirement of the season. After a dramatic battle with Wurz, the Canadian will suffer hydraulics failure just 8 laps from the end, ending a scoreless year, not even getting classified for the Drivers' Championship.